Hi everyone. So I wanted to talk about something that is, you know, something that I've been working on for a while, but, not really committing to it fully. And it's about, you know, getting rid of or at least limiting the habit of complaining, right? It's something that never makes me feel good. So anyway, I read this book, a 21 Days to a Complaint-Free World, or a Complaint-Free World 21-Day Challenge. I forget which order it is, but it's by Will Bowen. So I read the book, and basically the premise is that for 21 days, you wear a bracelet. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a ring on your finger. It could be a piece of string. It could be a pebble or a crystal in your pocket. And for 21 days, the challenge is that you don't complain, criticize, or gossip, right? If you do, you have to swap the bracelet to the other side, to the other wrist, okay? And the trick is to get 21 days without doing those things. Now, you might think that's easy. I would have thought myself a very positive person, um, and I got out of the bed, put the bracelet on, and I didn't even get, I didn't even get 20 minutes into it, and I found myself complaining. Now, in the challenge, it's whatever comes out of your mouth. You can think freely for now, but whatever comes out of your mouth is where you have to switch the bracelet over. So I came downstairs and I started complaining about the pain in my foot. I was like, oh my God, there we go, put it back over. So the book is fascinating if you read it, but if you know anything anyway about energy, which you probably do if you're here with me, you'll know that the energy of complaining, criticizing, and gossiping doesn't feel good in your body. If you're sitting down for a gossip session with people, you have that initial kind of juicy, let's get the scandal kind of feeling. Then, if you're anyway sensitive at all, it starts to feel a bit sludgy. It starts to feel a bit murky, right? And the thing is, when you were growing up and you heard, if you've nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. This is kind of the premise here. So I was listening to someone that I care about very much earlier, and they were really in a rant about something. And normally I'd kind of, I'd commiserate or I'd join in, but I didn't. I smiled and I kept drinking my tea, and um, I chose to see that person as endearing. And it was incredible, and it gave me a very good feeling because they looked at me and a whole range of expressions went through their face, and they actually heard themselves. And they started to say things like, that sounds very cynical, or, they kind of like, it landed for them. And it felt really good. It felt really good. And the thing is, like, if you sit with people like that, the whole thing anyway, it's probably too long to do a video on it, but mirror neurons, when a baby, it comes into the world and they start to model on their parents and mostly the primary carer, that still exists as an adult, and it's called emotional contagion. So if you're sitting with someone and they're talking about all the woes of the world and you're giving them attention, it starts to fire neurons in your brain to match theirs. So you find yourself complaining, or you find yourself making the same faces as they are, and you start to feel as crappy as they do. And the opposite is also true. If you're with someone who's very bubbly, very animated, they're smiling a lot, they just are, they're very peaceful and serene, you start to entrain with them. You start to, it's like tuning forks. You'll tune one fork and all of them start to resonate the same frequency. Or like there's this thing, the first grape of the in the vineyard to turn purple sends an enzyme out to all the other grapes. It's time to ripen. This kind of thing goes on through nature all the time. So the trick is, when they say you become the sum total of the five people you spend the most time with, this is where you really start to see how, the TikTok that says, am I the drama? Am I the drama? You start to see you're the drama. You start to see you're the drama. When people will often meet a friend and initiate conversation with a complaint. Oh my God, it's so hot today, or, whatever, this standing in line, whatever. So the challenge is to reframe it. Now, it's not to say that if there's something legitimate that you want to change. So there's this thing in Eckhart Tolle's book, I think it's A New Earth. And he says, there's a difference between complaining and like stating a fact. So say you get cold soup from the waiter and you say, my soup is cold. Can you reheat it, please? That's very different than saying, how dare you serve me cold soup? What kind of service is this? And you go off on a rant and you just cause really horrible energy and probably will get spit in your soup. So there's nothing wrong with stating something that you want. It's the emotional charge. So your kids drop all their clothes on the ground. Is it going to get cleaned up faster by berating your children to yourself, which is usually what happens? You're still going to pick the clothes up. You might as well save your peace by saying, okay, it's bothering me that the clothes are on the floor. I can pick up the clothes or I can leave them there and go to them and say, I'd really love if you picked your clothes up off the floor. Now, it's kind of on them then after that if they want to pick the clothes up and make you happy or if they don't. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just don't see these things. So look, it's only for 21 days. Sometimes it takes people up to 6 months to get 21 days free of complaint. That's how ingrained a habit complaining, criticizing, and gossiping is. The more you start to reframe it and you start to find the good, it's like, you're digging for gold kind of thing. You're reframing your situations. It's like I've only been doing it a couple of days, but it really frees up a lot of energy and it changes your mood and you find people respond to you differently, and some people may drop away, people that are used to you sitting down and gossiping or criticizing or whatever, they might just fall away from it. That's fine. And it's not that you go around pointing out where other people are making mistakes. You work on yourself. You work on yourself. And if there's a lot of people complaining around you, there's a good chance that you have a very strong complaining habit, because like attracts like. We live in an attraction-based universe. So what you'll find is when you stop putting out that frequency of complaining, you start to get nicer things. It's like if you're working in a shop and somebody comes up to ask for help, and you have one person who goes up and says, I know you're really busy. Is there any chance you could help me out with this? I can't find it. And then you have someone who comes up and demands and criticizes that the layout of the shop is so bad that you can't even find a simple thing. And where are all the staff? Which one are you most likely to want to help? The one that respected your time and asked nicely. When you think of all the complaining that we do, and if you feel like the universe as an entity, basically that, like, we're saying you're doing it wrong. This is shit. You're shit. You know what I mean? When you pare it all down. And the universe is neutral, so it has to send you back the energetics that you're giving out. So you'll just find more things to complain about, more things to criticize about, more things to gossip about. And people will gossip about you, and people will complain about you, and people will criticize you. So sending out that energy, sending out that vibration of gratitude, reframing, finding things that are nice about people. There's always something. Just try it. When you start to see how your life changes because of this is when it will become really interesting to you. And at the very least, it will show you the predominance of your mental patterns. So just something I thought I'd share. Hope you find it as interesting as I do. Bye. Bye.